Okay, so following up on my post from the other day about change readiness, and if you didn't see it, it was just really talking about how sometimes we start trying to make a change and we're not truly ready yet. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with kind of, getting in there and giving things a try and, learning. You're going to kind of step into things, learn what works, learn what doesn't, find your support network, figure out what kinds of things you can do to help yourself cope in a healthy way when things don't, when you have the inevitable setbacks and things don't go the way you want them to. And so, one thing I really wanted to talk about is that when you're in that stage where you're starting to take some action and you're learning, you're growing, and, putting together a bit of a resource kit of things to help you move through, adjusting to a change, starting to teach your system that it's safe to change, it's safe to rely on different ways of doing things, different ways of coping and getting through stuff. And, in that, if you find that it reaches a point where you're kind of repeating and repeating and repeating and not really quite finding your way out of it, something that can be really, really helpful is to ask yourself what this particular habit or pattern or behavior is. What is it doing for you? Like, how is it serving you? And I know that quite often the quick and simple and easy answer is it's not, right? It's running havoc in my life or something like that, or else I wouldn't want to change it. But there is always a way that the habit or whatever is helping you. So all of our patterns, our ways of looking at the world, our ways of looking at ourselves, the habits that we rely on, the coping mechanisms that we use, those things were all developed for a good reason. They were developed to try to help you, right? They helped to help you deal with stress. They help you cope with things. They help you to fit in, get along, all these different things. And what those things inevitably boil down to is that they equal safety to your nervous system. And so whatever it is that you're trying to change, habits, ways of looking at the world, all of that, in order to change it, you kind of need to understand, what is this doing for me now? So, let's say if we were talking about like emotional eating, well, it's helping you to soothe and manage your stress, helping you to deal with your feelings, that kind of stuff. So if you address that underlying need that it's meeting, quite often you'll find that it's much easier to move out of the habit, right? Our brains are very plastic. We can create new pathways. We can use affirmations. We can, just practicing things enough times, we can teach our nervous system that, this new way is safe. But if you continue to need the behavior, it's going to be very, very difficult to adjust it. So when you figure out what the underlying need is that's being met and find a new way to meet that need, or to even address the need so that it no longer needs to be met, then it's much easier to do all the other kind of, education, reprogramming, all that kind of stuff, or repatterning. Sorry, I prefer that word. But yeah, so just something to think about, right? Like when you're looking at something that just keeps showing up, like what is it here for? What is it trying to show me? What do I actually need underneath this? Is a really great place to look. Another thing that's important to think about is that quite often our self-image hasn't quite caught up yet to changes that we want to make. And so, this one can be really relevant when you're wanting to reach certain goals or lose weight or become more active or grow a business or any of those types of things. If your self-image doesn't quite reconcile itself with, it's okay for me to be that new version of me, quite often that's where we can see self-sabotage behaviors come in and kind of wreak a bit of havoc on your progress, because again, your nervous system doesn't yet believe that it's safe to go out there and try being that new person. And so in many cases, all those little incremental steps that you're taking are allowing you to get used to this new idea, no, this is who I am now. I'm somebody who takes these actions. I'm somebody who is that thing that I want to be. And you hear a lot of kind of, like the inspirational kind of guys talk about that, right? If you if you want to become a certain thing, you need to be around people who are like that, and you need to believe that you are that type of a person. And so it could be something just as simple as, I'm the type of person who sets boundaries and says no when I need to. And just believing that you're that type of person and surrounding yourself with people who also have that characteristic can really allow you to start to become a lot more comfortable with that sort of new self image. So yeah, if you're kind of moving through a season of change and trying to work towards goals, and in repatterning things that you feel aren't serving you anymore, some of these can be really helpful places to start looking to try to find some long-term change that sticks.